So the movie, this takes place in the 1950s. It starts out with a war flashback of the new high school principal of Del Rio High School for Spanish kids. Excuse me. He's having nightmares. He has PTSD flashbacks.
You're doing great.
Thanks. He he goes, he hits the drive, and then, second scene. So that's our introduction to that guy, who's our main title figure, played by Jay Hernandez. I forget his actual name. And then we get introduced to all of our youngsters who like to play golf. They're all meeting up to go caddy, and they're like, "Where's Joe?" Our main protagonist. And then it's Joe getting into a fight. People are fighting. What? Joe's getting beat up. He throws a guy into a trash can. Some racist white guy puts him in a headlock. That was me.
Very important plot point.
Very important plot point
that we need to
I run
be
up.
sure of.
I call him a slur, which they cut out for some reason.
What slur was it? Don't say it. Don't actually say it.
I have to
What's your favorite slur?
No, we're not doing that. Do not put that in the comments either. We do not want you to comment your favorite slur, please. We will delete the comment.
Definitely don't do that. It definitely won't get you blocked from the entire comment system of YouTube. Yeah.
It was really funny because when we were recording, I'm not union. So when we're recording the scene.
What does that mean?
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
okay.
we've got people who don't know anything about movies.
Yeah.
Watching.
Some
Some of our host the podcast.
Okay, so
but for all the other people, explain it to them.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, when you're an actor, there's non-union actors and there's union actors. When you're in the union, you're part of the Screen Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA. So that means you're a union actor. There are certain standards like pay, conditions that you are to be provided, certain hours of work. It's like any other work union. When you're not a union actor, you don't get any of those things. You actually don't get paid a whole lot. You actually don't get a whole lot of benefits. You get no benefits at all, actually. And it's really a fight for yourself out there. And that was a big part of what the SAG-AFTRA strike was really about, because while we are not a part of the union fights for our rights. For example, Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, wanted to pay me $75 for my name, likeliness, and voice recording for all eternity with no residuals or royalties. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, because I was non-union, in order to become a union actor, you have to hit a certain check marks in the field. So you have to have a certain number of lines, for example. And if you do have a certain number of lines, it is in the union that you have to be paid a certain amount, even if you're not union. So when we're actually recording the scene, while there's no dialogue going on, because two of us, myself and Harrison, the blonde kid in the scene, we're non-union. Josh, the one who was thrown into the trash can, he's union. He's actually in the credits. Julian Works, the kid playing Joe, was actually like, can they yell something? Like, can they call me back? Can they call me, like, literally anything? Can they say something? Like, and he's like, mostly to me, because although it was cut out, I was doing a lot of what was in that scene. They're like, can he say anything? He's like, no. So it's just quiet. Anyway, Joe's getting beat up. He gets thrown through a fence by me. His backup comes through. We run away. They explain the fight. He just got into the fight just because. That's the kind of guy. He's a tough guy. What they do.
We could tell when the scene cuts him and he was shirtless.
Yeah. He's a tough guy. So they go caddy, and it's really just showing you their world. They're caddies for pennies, for dollars. They get shafted. They get disrespected. Joe even goes as far as to piss on one of the country club members' cars. Is that Tommy? Was it
Cheech?
Cheech, yeah. Cheech from Cheech and Chong.
Yeah,
he's also in the movie. He's like his mentor that works there and shows him.
Yeah, that was a good.
Cheech is like, this is what happens when you don't conform to the white man.
Yeah, that was
that was his whole character.
Yeah, that was a good scene because he really, like, after you see the obvious disrespect because they're Mexican kids and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and so when he thinks nobody's looking, he kind of takes a piss on the guy's car, and then he's watching and he's like, oh shoot, somebody saw me. But he's got his back. He's like, I know.
Oh, I'm not.
Trust me, I know how it is. These guys are they deserve it. So
you gotta flip it. But yeah, he pisses on the car, and the boys, what they do after that whole little scene happens, they go and they do what they do in their free time, which is they build their own driving range because they're not allowed in the clubs or other ranges to practice golf, and they go play their own. The new principal's truck is driving by. Joe's like, I bet whoever I can hit that truck. They're like, you can't hit that. And then he goes, they're like, wait, breaks the window, comes after him. You know, they get away, but you know, the principal, he's then late to a meeting where we're shown again racism, where he's meeting to be a member of a country club, a part of Del Rio, one of the most like famous like golf courses or whatever, I think in Texas. I'm unsure
about Del Rio.
But anyway, he meets there. He's like, wow, you're an excellent guy, but you know, the other members wouldn't take too kindly to you being here. So here's a few other country clubs like a few hours away and everything. He's like, no, I want to be here. He's like, sir, you're not white, essentially.
Yeah.
And then we're introduced to the whole him getting going to this new school. He recognizes the boys in an assembly when he's introducing himself. Chaos ensues. He chases after the boys. The boys get into the principal's office. He recognizes them, and he's like, wait a minute. I'm going to make a golf team. And when these boys win the tournament, they'll let me into the white club, which is...
which he's been trying to get into the white club for a long time.
It's his dream. It's his dream to get into the white country club. Because that's the best golf course, and he loves golf.
Michael, what's it like being born into the white club?
Well, recently not great, but overall, like, pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would say the benefits are worth it?
Yeah, to be fair, yeah. I'm like, what am I going to do, lie? Tell y'all that it's awful? No, I mean, like, yeah, obviously it's got its benefits.
Unlike actors who are not unionized.
Yeah, who are not.
There are no benefits.
Yeah, we
Correct.
We don't get benefits.
Yeah, they're not allowed to speak.
No, they
Which
literally
is pretty
said if we give
pretty
him
cool
life, we
thing.
have to pay him more.
What a weird concept.
Yeah. So he's like, you're gonna be a part of my golf team, and they're like, yeah, whatever, old man, maybe. And they all become a part of the golf team. And then he's buddies with Dennis Quaid. And Dennis,
man, what a cool thing to be buddies with Dennis Quaid.
Greg, are you buddies with Dennis Quaid?
I am not buddy. I'm buddies with Dennis Quaid's nephew's son. He was one of my students when I taught high school.
Oh, well, that's
he knows.
something.
He knows. He's met him. He's like, he actually personally doesn't like him because of an affair he had and stuff. So we're not gonna get into that.
Dang, man, just putting all their dirt out there.
It's out there, brother.
Okay.
It's out there.
Greg's out here
First
on a
time
press
I've
tour.
I'm out here doing my
For
own
the
solo
long
press
game.
tour for this movie now that it's
Credit
out on
this
Netflix.
man
That
for
was
his 14 seconds. I mean,
I'm
the
on
least
the
you could
IMDb.
do is put his name on there.
I might only be on screen for 14 seconds. They cut out like one of the coolest shots that like me and Julian, because I throw him through the fence, and they actually recorded me like menacingly walking, like his POV, me walking up to the fence to like continue to beat him up, and then him coming out swinging at me, and it was really cool. They shot it a couple times. They literally showed us, and Julian's like, "Yo, dude, that's cool," like the way it was, and then they don't put it, and I was really disappointed because that's like, you really just see my face.
It's obviously not cool enough.
Not cool enough.
You know what? You have the same issue that what's her name? That girl from
Ugly Betty.
No, so she had all kinds of scenes in Endgame that they cut out as Tony Stark's daughter.
Oh
yeah, for 13 was it 13 Reasons? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that girl. So now you know how she feels.
Hannah Baker?
Yeah.
Really?
Whoa.
I had no idea.
She was they had recorded a bunch of scenes for her in Endgame, and they were like,
man.
nope.
I mean, that's the thing that happens.
When are we
going to
talk about 13 Reasons Why?
I'll give you
shouldn't,
13
by the
reasons
way.
why we're not going to. Ever. Probably.
Nice.
But
that's the thing.
right now...
people get cut out of movies entirely all the time. Like, that just happens. But
yeah, and that happened to you, which is a shame.
It happened. Not entirely. But I wasn't left on the cutting room floor. They could have cut the whole scene. I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Dennis Quaid shows up, and he's like, let me
show these brown boys how to play white golf.
That is essentially what he shows up.
I'm gonna show these guys how to
He
play.
literally walks
way.
up. He sees them like swinging, and he's like, "These brown boys, I swear."
Yeah, he immediately, just like a white person would, just starts to tell
he starts
everybody else
correcting
how
their
to do
form.
things.
Yeah, and then Jay Hernandez's character, the principal, he's telling him how to dress. Hey, tuck in your shirt, stand up straight. This is how we do. This is how we have to behave in front of the white people if we're gonna get places.
Yeah, well, that's and like I said, that's just a common theme. I know a lot of black people, their experiences. I've heard a lot of them talking about how they have to talk white.
Yeah.
There's a that's actually a pretty good.
Sorry
movie.
to bother you.
Sorry to bother you. Where they literally have to.
You
got
to use your white
voice to do their job and to be accepted.
It's a Key and Peele sketch too.
Yeah, and it's also just something that was real life that people felt like they had to do. They had to talk. People would comment, "Oh man, you sound educated," just because they were talking white, and you know what I mean. So that's a real thing was also in this movie.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah. Definitely. And then the boys, they go to their first tournament.
Good point, Jarvis. Good job.
Excellent point. They go to their first tournament. I think they qualify for. No, they get invited to another tournament because of how well
behaved they were.
The white men noticed how well behaved the brown boys were, and they were so pleased, and so they invite them to the next tournament. That you see the boys bonding. They at some point, I think it's before, like one of the major tournaments before state. They go to a diner. And they're all together. This is after they've bonded for a bit. Dennis Quaid, was never a racist in the first place of the movie, but they're all bonding and stuff, and they pull up to a diner, and the diner staff is refusing to serve them because they're Mexican, and they're making a little bit of a fuss about it, and they're like, "Hey, let's go," and Joe, the main boy, he goes outside. He starts just driving balls into their windows, and causes a ruckus. And they all peel out of there. Dennis Quaid's like laughing. He's like, "You got him," blah blah blah. Principal just snaps. It's like, "You don't understand." He's like, "Pull over." And he takes him out and he chews him out for, doing something that would encourage a negative stereotype. That.
Yeah, I thought he asked him a pretty dumb question when he's like, "Did that make you feel good?" And he was like, "Yeah, it did."
Yeah, no, straight up.
I mean, what's it?
Yeah, he had instant gratification for that. That's exactly why he did it.
We all did.
We all, yeah, they got it.
It's pretty good.
But actions have consequences, and that comes back to bite them later on.
And I feel that was the only, for me, that was the only story beat that was hitting the point of not conforming, but just being a decent person and not going for the instant gratification thing. And
do you agree with
holding
that?
yourself?
Do you agree with that statement? Instant gratification, is it good or bad?
Delayed gratification is always better than instant gratification.
He's a real ledger.
You can't be doing Zoomer jokes with Jarvis. He doesn't understand them.
Sorry, I'm a millennial.
Wait, you don't know what edging is?
I know what it is. It's
you don't like edging movies
right now. I'm just kidding. I'm familiar with the phrases that you youngins use on the TikToks.
Gooners rise up, I suppose.
But so delayed gratification is better than instant for you.
Yeah, usually.
As in regards to this movie,
no.
It wasn't instant gratification because I was in the second scene and we all were like, "All right."
I was watching Family Guy when Greg was on screen, so.
I actually there's a picture
of him holding his phone up.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, you sent it to me. I think
it's really
that
fun.
night. Actually, Greg, what part of I just want to ask you what part of the because I know shooting happens in different orders. It's not always in chronological orders.
Yeah.
What part of the movie was your did your scene take place in the
timeline of production?
Yeah.
Excellent question.
Thank you.
No idea what the fucking answer is.
Oh, okay.
I'm not that important, dude.
How
I don't get that info.
So then how long were you like
I knew about
on
this
or
job.
around?
I got this job 2 days before it happened.
Oh,
That's how quick it is.
how did that happen?
I was about to enter my last year at Texas State, finishing my BFA.
Hey, whoa! Watch your mouth.
Whoa, sorry.
Sorry,
MFer.
full-time MFers. This guy's
Full-time.
the potty
MFers.
mouth. Sorry.
And
Called people slurs and got paid for it.
I did.
Is that the kind of person that you?
This
wanna
is the
be?
kind of
This is the kind of example I'm setting for my high school students.
this is the kind of guest we have, at the very least.
And unfortunately, I needed to do an additional semester before I started my student teaching.
Yeah.
To make up a class, and I decided to take an elective course that I didn't get to take before. It was an armed combat course where I learned how to do quarterstaff, eskrima, and fight
Again
with
the language, please. Thank you.
a shalaya.
Can you just bleep that out?
And so I had taken I had taken a course with this professor before I had known him, and he emails me before the semester starts. This is summer, so I was in the middle of teaching a summer camp as a part of my program that we hosted at the university. And then my professor for the next semester emails me. He's like, "Hey, I got reached out to for this local production for a featured extra in a fight scene. Are you Anglo passing?" He's like, "It's been a couple years since you were in my class. I remember your name." He's like, "Can you pass for white? Do you want this job?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "Give me your info. I'll send it to them."
All you had to do is show up in like a sweater vest with a Starbucks drink.
Yes. Yeah, they're like
White Steve Urkel. Yeah.
And so he's like, "Cool, I'll forward your information. If they want you, they'll let you know." So he forwarded my information. It was really funny because I was in the middle of like playing online with my friends when I like got that email. I was like, "Guys," and these are my Puerto Rican friends. I'm like, "Guys, I can pass for white, right?" They're like, "Greg, you're the whitest out of all of us. Yes, you can." Cabrón. Like, and I sent them the stuff. They forwarded it. They emailed me back. They're like, "What's your availability here, here, and here? I need to see you in this. Send us pictures of you doing this, like in this form, like wearing this, so we can
Sounds
kind
very
of gauge
Hollywood.
what we can put."
What are you wearing? What can you wear?
And
Are you okay with topless scenes?
you're okay. They're like, "What's your build?"
Sign the nudity clause, please.
Here's my
And
rider.
They did film those, right? They just didn't make it to the movie.
Yeah,
The
they just
nude
didn't make
scene
it to the movie.
with you.
They said, "Are you?"
It was a dream sequence.
Instead of beating him up, we're all kissing.
It was a directorial thing. It wasn't really a part of the original vision, but he really wanted it.
It was a what's it called? Artistic decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a
Well,
metaphor for racism.
They showed my pictures. They showed my headshot to Julian. They're like, "Can you kiss him?"
Yeah.
you comfortable with that? I have another question. I want to ask you. Now, I think we would all agree that racism is wrong. Racism.
Hot take.
Racism's
bad.
Hot take.
Racism does not pay, but apparently it does pay people to be racist. So, how do you feel about giving that mixed signal out to the youth of America that maybe racism does pay?
This whole movie's a mixed signal, so I mean, like, what difference does it make?
Because a lot of people were paid to be racist.
But that's
So
the
racism
thing.
does
You're
pay
correct. A
sometimes?
lot of people did.
A
Yeah.
lot of people were paid, but here's
More
the
than
difference.
Greg usually too.
They were paid more than me, and here's the difference: because I'm a Latino man myself.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Oh, gotcha.
What can you say about the other white actors that got paid more than you though? That were definitely more racist than you in that movie.
Did they get a pass? I think we stumped them. I think we fried his brain.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
It was very nice.
We
having
got
you.
him.
Racism does pay sometimes.
So to finish the
Do not
plot
clip
of
that.
the movie, because we still haven't finished the plot.
So we still have it, but to loop back to anyway, Jarvis. They're like, "Yeah, we'd love to have you show up here on this date with your test." I show up on set, whatever. So to continue with the plot of the movie, they have that scene in the car. There's also another scene where Dennis Quaid is trying to get his character is trying to get Jay Hernandez's character in good with the white folk. So he invites him without telling either party
Yeah, that was good. That was a
at
good
tea
scene.
time, which is golf. So
Yeah,
And
that's
then they-
different.
then
If
they-
we have any viewers in across the pond in the UK, it's different. Tea time is different for you guys than it is for me.
It is. And so they all bet their club sets, but Jay Hernandez's character, you know, they're like, well, that set's not worth anything. You know, they're old, they're run down. It was his grandfather's set. So they go the whole time. They're going to, Jay Hernandez and his wife's character, they're actually going to beat the white folk at their own game.
Mm-hmm. Beating white folks. Also not something that you should do. We don't condone that.
We don't condone the beating of white
folk.
But
also in this movies.
But also in so
is that smooth? Did anyone notice that one?
I didn't. What are you talking about? You were sitting there the whole time. What do you mean?
Yeah.
So they have to throw. They have to throw the game because they can see the white people are getting pissed. The wife doesn't want to throw, but you know they have to throw.
She was awesome.
She was a badass.
She apparently was really good at golf too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Why? Let's dissect this for a moment. Why wouldn't the woman
be good at golf? Why would a proud woman be good at golf?
It doesn't have anything to do with that. It's just that I, from experiences of husbands and wives, they don't always share the same hobbies, and they're not always good at the same things. So the fact that they shared that hobby in particular, and that she also happened to be very good at the game as well, it was a little bit. I was like, oh, just not expecting it. Not that it's weird or that it can't happen.
Well, Jarvis, I'm good at card games, and Sybil is. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right on this point. She is good at card games though.
I'm right sometimes.
I won't lie to you. She is good at card games, but she does not want to play them.
Yeah. So I mean, so that's one of those
yeah.
things where I was just like, maybe she, you know, was like, oh, this is the thing that he loves.
Let's be real. Based off of his character, do you think he would have married a woman who couldn't play golf?
I mean, I don't really know him as a character enough to know what kind of woman he's into.
You didn't get enough?
Except for, you know, smart, attractive women. I know that about him.
That's true. So they throw the game. Wife is all upset. It eventually gets to the point where they get to the big tournament, state tournament, which is at the white country club that he wanted to golf at. He's like, we finally did it. We've made it. I might not be golfing on the course, but my boys are golfing on the course. And you know, they play the whole time. And the golf tournaments are typically 2 days, 2 or 3 days. Golf is a long game.
Whoa.
The long game.
The long game.
If you will.
So.
Is that why you leaned over? We're getting a little. We're both in the shot now.
You guys are so cute.
Keep going, Greg.
Okay. I'm too distracted by the cute. You guys should kiss. Anyway, and so what happens... So for audio listeners, are kissing. The people from the diner actually show up, like when Joe is at like the last hole, and the cops show up to arrest him and DQ him, disqualify him from the golf tournament.
Speaking of holes, those guys were being a-holes to him.
I thought that was going in a different direction.
This movie's great at showing hole, you know what I'm saying?
Those people from the diner were a-holes in one. I don't know.
Birdie. I don't know either.
Eagle.
Nice on.
Par for the course.
Chip in.
Y'all like Wii Sports? That's a good movie.
So the cops show up to be racist.
The cops show up to arrest him and be racist, and
conveniently.
Well, it wasn't convenient. The white boy who was getting beat and calling him a wetback was like, "This brown boy's beating me, Daddy, do something." Daddy calls the cops.
Was that his actual dad?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh,
I don't know. It wasn't fleshed out enough. From what I remember, I think that was the guy's dad.
I hope he wasn't. I hope that was his dad if he was calling him dad.
It like 0 to 80 to the last arc of the movie really quick, so I have no clue.
Yeah, I don't know.
And so they take him into the country club office. They're all disputing it with the coach, Dennis Quaid, with the cops, and they agree to drop the charges if he drops out of the tournament.
It was wildly unrelated to anything else that had to do with the diner.
Exactly.
And they're like, oh, also, you have to stop playing golf forever.
Also, we'll give you a membership.
Do we
Mr. Coach.
do we know how to spell quid pro quo? 'Cause that really
I
feels
thought
like
we stopped
that's
doing
one of
spelling bees. I stopped studying for those.
So quid pro quo, Greg, which is easier to spell in my opinion than restaurant.
Shut
Look
up.
it up. Is that's what that is.
Dennis Quid
Tar.
in the movie.
I can't.
No,
can't
that's
remember how
Quaid.
to spell it.
That'd be a Quaid quo pro.
REST.
He is a professional.
So, anyways,
Oh.
the principal says no, it was me.
He's
I
like,
did
no,
it.
it was me. Arrest me. And the cops are like, you sure? And the white people are like, don't do it. Everything you dreamed of, golfing with white people, everything you've dreamed of is on the line. And he does it anyway. And so the
Probably
second day of
could've
the
golfed.
tournament, he's not allowed to be there. He's not allowed
Probably
to
could have
coach.
golfed anyway. There's other places to golf.
There's other places.
Yeah, he was
But
just
it-
kinda
Plenty of
like,
courses.
Yeah.
He's like, you say I can't golf. I'm just gonna golf harder.
That's exactly what he does.
The long game too. Golf harder.
So he shows up, but he can't go coach him for the second day. And so then Cheech Marone's character from Cheech and Chong, he gives him the little keys because he's the groundskeeper. He's like, go use the tractor to go watch the guy. And so, he pulls up and he's like at the edge of the green or whatever. I don't know, the fairway. I don't know golf. And so he pulls up in the tractor
It's the long game.
as a moment's happening.
Pulls up to the long
between
game.
racist white boy and Joe. Because racist white boy's like, extra stroke because, and he's like, but I didn't do that. What do you? Because they have to keep each other's scorecards. And he's
old?
like, who's gonna believe the brown boy?
Yeah, that old guy was about to have an extra stroke.
He was.
true.
At the end of the movie.
He was.
All my edgers also. Where you at in the comments?
And then Joe, he's like getting in the white boy's face because he's calling him a wetback. And he's like, I want to be tough guy that I've always been. And then he sees his coach, and he's like, don't be tough guy. Come on, man.
Be
Conform. Be a white boy. And he's like, I have to be a white boy and conform and not hit him.
So he
That's
steps
how-
on his
that's how it
shoes
feels.
instead.
It's not how it's supposed to come off, but that's how it feels.
For sure.
And then he ends up just beating him anyway because he's good at golf,
Which is hard. That's fucking hard.
which is hard as fuck. And then they're like, all right, cool, you won. Here's the trophy. They're like, well, wait. And Dennis Quaid's like, what about their ceremony? And they're like, it's not a good look if we give the brown kids a ceremony.
Yeah, the excuse
Here's
he
the
used
trophy.
was the weather. Is
Yeah,
not gonna
they're like,
allow
the
them
weather,
to-
the sun is beaming. They're like,
clear sky.
they played through pouring rain earlier in the tournament. You can't have the ceremony in partly cloudy.
Racism will find a way.
It will.
And the principal also just shows up and just kind of doesn't get arrested, even though he said he
just
was
like he's
allowed
just
back.
there now.
He's definitely trespassing.
Yeah. He forgets the rules, I guess.
Yeah,
And then so
for sure.
So did the writers. They
Yeah.
forgot.
they did. And so Dennis Quaid is like, let me walk you through the country club, boys. And he's like, and Joe's like, no. We'll walk
do
in
it
ourselves.
ourselves.
We'll do it ourselves. He's like, okay, boys. Act like white boys. Tuck in your shirts. Stand up straight. Fix your hat. Let's walk in there. And then they go through, and it's like all slow-mo, and they're all just looking at him.
And they all
glaring.
get the nod of approval
And-
from
and
the white boys.
The white boy who he just beat and was racist and
Gives
tried
him-
to get
gives
him
him one of
arrested is
these.
like nod of approval. 180 real quick.
I feel like that's like a.
He's like, you beat
an
me at
anime
golf, I
trope.
respect you.
Once you beat them, then
You're
automatically
your best
they're your
friends now. Yeah,
You have to beat the white people at
it's
their own game.
Naruto.
It's
just
Goku
Naruto.
and Vegeta, man. He beat
Yeah.
him up and
Yeah.
one too many times, so he had to be his bestie.
Yeah,
Oh my god, I totally forgot about the romantic subplot.
Yeah, we all did. Because is it really? I mean,
It's only there to
it just
flesh
feels-
out Joe a little more, and even then, I completely forgot about it. That's
it feels
how like
it's obligatory. I think like so when you watch this type of movie, that it's
it's
one of those
award
obligatory
bait.
tropes.
It's trying to be award bait. It didn't
Yeah.
get to be. It won one award at South by Southwest when it premiered in 2023
Yeah.
for the Narrative Achievement Award, I guess, or Narrative Award,
because it told it. It definitely told a
because
story.
it told a story that
that's
was
an achievement.
racist.
Don't you have a story about the girl who was playing the love interest?
Yeah, she's very cute.
You heard
So
it
I'm
here.
on set. I don't have
Greg,
like a story.
Greg has a
So
crush.
like my experience on set with this movie. So like I said, the way I got it was a professor's like, hey, they're casting. They need somebody. Can I recommend you? I go. They pick me.
Can I pitch a movie for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's literally, that's going to be the title. Greg Has a Crush. It's just going to be about you and your love life.
Hey. You look good over there.
Look real good.
Have you thought about sharing your kindness with others?
Share the love.
Maybe like the video. Click on that subscribe button. And show your friends.
Yeah, just touch it ever so lightly, that like button. Move over to the subscribe button. Maybe tap your keyboard just a little bit. Leave a comment. Bye.
That's it.